Welcome. You have reached review time with Imperial. Today's review will be Spider-Man Into the Verse. Let's get into it. So, a few months ago, I was, I forgot what exact movie I was watching where this movie was the end credits, like the post credits that come at the end of the movie. This was one of the credits, basically the trailer for this movie. I can't really think of what movie that was at the time. But those of y'all who, watch movies like I do, you know exactly what movie it was. But I didn't know what to think of it. So I was like, cartoon Spider-Man. I'm not a big comic guy, so I don't follow the comics too much to know maybe in the comics there was different Spider-Mans throughout the comics or whatever. So I guess there was for this movie to transpire. So let's get into it. So basically, the movie is a cartoon, but it shows a kid. His father is a police officer, and he's growing up. He's a teenager. He's in a performing arts type school for high performing kids for school, and he doesn't really want to be there. His dad is police, like I said, and his dad and his relationship is strained or whatever. So he has an uncle who he relates more to. So he vibes with his uncle, and his uncle allows him. They go do graffiti together or whatever. And in the process of one of the times they go do graffiti, he gets bit by one of those special spiders or whatever, and it goes into his system, and he starts to generate the powers of his hand sticking to everything or whatever. So, which will allow him to, like a spider, how spiders could crawl up walls and stuff like that. So he goes through that little spill or whatever. So he then goes and meanwhile, in the Spider-Man quote unquote world, he's up against his nemesis Kingpin, and he's trying to stop Kingpin. Kingpin is building this machine that could affect the world. So Spider-Man is trying to stop this machine. So the kid winds up where Spider-Man is trying to fight and fight Kingpin or whatever. So Spider-Man sees he has powers, and pretty much telling him, like, giving him, like, basically, yo, I could teach you, what I'm saying? I could teach you some things and give you some pointers, but right now I gotta go stop the situation and stay here, don't get involved or whatever. And so in the process of Spider-Man trying to do that, stop the machine, it's other foes that are trying to stop him, not just Kingpin. So they get the best of Spider-Man. The machine not blows up, but it explodes, and Spider-Man gets wounded, and he's underneath the rubbish. And so the kid comes down. Spider-Man gives the kid this device, saying, "Hey, you gotta, promise that you will stop him." Or whatever, told him get going. Meanwhile, the kid left, but he watched Kingpin kill Spider-Man or whatever. So the kid is distraught. Everybody mourning the death of Spider-Man. They find out that Peter Parker is the Spider-Man, and Peter Parker was 26 years old. So he's still fairly young. Meanwhile, the kid goes off and he goes to visit Spider-Man's grave. And in the process of going to visit the grave, he gets into it with, there was like one of the guys that was trying to, kill Spider-Man was chasing after the kid. And so when the kid, that thing came to fight him, out of nowhere, someone came to help him. But when he seen who came to help him, it was another Spider-Man. So that was weird. And when he took off the mask of the Spider-Man, it was Peter Parker in another dimension. So that machine who Kingpin had, it altered dimensions and brought different Spider-Mans from different dimensions all come to this world. So it was Peter Parker in another dimension. Now this Peter Parker was older, and he missed out on the love of his life, which was Mary Jane, because he was always doing the Spider-Man thing. And so he lost the love of his life or whatever. He had a beard. He picked up some weight. So then it was a Spider-Man, which was weird. Porky Pig Spider-Man. That was real weird. There was a Japanese animation Spider-Man. There was a Spider-Man from back in the day, way back in the day, the 30s and 40s, Spider-Man. And there was a Spider-Man, female Spider-Man, which was his friend in his world that he went to school with or whatever. So the plot of this story is that they all eventually got to work together and go through their trials and tribulations to defeat Kingpin and put this chip inside of the machine to break the machine. And so eventually what happens is the kid, he gets a new Spider-Man suit. He finds out that his uncle was the guy that was trying to kill him, so his uncle was a bad guy. And all of the different Spider-Mans went back to their dimensions. He built his own relationship with his father. He repaired that. His father was against Spider-Man, but then through him, with him being the new Spider-Man, he was able to bridge that gap where, him and his dad had to work together, but his dad not knowing as him, that, for him to be okay with Spider-Man helping. And so that's it was a cool story. It was a different twist. Out of the 4-star rating system, I give it a 2.5 out of 4 stars. 2.5 out of 4 stars I give it. It was just okay to me. It was different. Kingpin, at the end of the movie, he did string Kingpin up to get locked up and stuff like that for his dad. So it was okay. I don't know how well it did in the box office. I don't know if it could be a part 2, but it was, it was okay for what it was. You know what I'm saying? So happy holidays, by the way. And that's the end of this review. Stay tuned to the next review. Subscribe and like, share the video. Till next time.